We're going to wait till we get all the student athletes up here, and then we'll get rolling. No hurry. I say that, of course. Okay. We're okay. We're okay. Tell you what, as we're waiting for the other participants, go over the ground rules. Once the student athletes get up here, we'll have an opening statement from the coach. Then we'll open it up to questions to the student athletes. Once we open it up, we'll have 8 minutes for questions with the student athletes, and then 15 minutes approximately let me look here. Yeah, 10 minutes with the coach. Apologies. We'll have 10 minutes with the coach after that. As always, please make sure your cell phones are turned off. And once we start questions, as we approach you with the microphone, again, please announce your name and affiliation. Take your time. Be careful. All right. I think we're set to begin. Let's start with a couple minutes from Coach Walls.
All right. First, I'd like to congratulate Michigan, their entire team, their staff on just outstanding year and such a incredible game. I thought it was a great college basketball game. They continue to fight. You know, we took a little bit of lead there in the first quarter, first half. They fought all the way back. Then we get it up to 9 points in the third quarter. They fought back and cut it to 2. There was never any quit in them, and just thought overall it was just a great basketball game. And then for our kids, just really proud of them. I mean, what an effort that they gave and just continued to give the entire night. You know, again, we guarded. We had to guard. We knew coming in this we were going to have to defend. We ended up turning them over 22 times, and we come up with 24 points off of those 22 turnovers. And if we don't turn them over, you know, they guarded extremely well in the half court as well. I mean, it was a tough game to score, but really proud of them, every single one of them, and excited to be continuing to move on with them.
Thank you, Coach. Let's open it up for questions for the student athletes. We've got the first one over here.
Hey, Haley, Cameron with the Courier-Journal. You made a point yesterday. We asked you guys a lot about defense yesterday, and you made the point that, like, we have scorers all over the floor. Chelsea is someone who in the starting lineup often goes overlooked. Big day in the Sweet 16, 15 today. Just kind of talk about what she brings and her performance out there.
Yeah, you know, we wouldn't have won without Chelsea today, obviously. She brought it on defense. She pressured the ball every minute she was in. She made their point guards deal with full court pressure, slow their offense down, got a bunch of big steals in the fourth quarter. And obviously on offense, you know, they were blitzing me a lot, making it tough for me to get shots. And I found Chelsea, and the other girls found Chelsea off the ball screens, and she knocked it down. You know, that's what she's capable of. She's a very good scorer, finds her spots well, and takes advantage of it. And she did that today, and, you know, she earned it. She works hard, and she's always in the gym with me getting shots up. So, yeah, kudos to her on that. She was big time today.
Other questions? Let's go in the pink here.
Thanks. Shannon Ryan, The Athletic. Michigan didn't score the last 5 minutes and 42 seconds. They missed their last 8 shots. You know, your coach is talking about the turnovers. Just how, you know, when you get to Louisville, is the message about buying into defense? How does that get through to you guys? How do you pick up on that, incorporate that in a game, and make it such a big part of what you guys do?
Who is that directed to? Okay. Well, go ahead.
I mean, I think, we really focus on it because, okay, I'm going to do that anyway. Our coaches just preach to us, like, no matter what happens on the offensive end, if it's the worst shooting night of our lives, we can go down on the other end and play defense and get stops. And at the end of the day, if the other team scores less than you, you still win, no matter if it's 3-2 or 10-9 at the end of the game. But we just know defense is something we can always control, and we've bought into it this year. This team, we really came together, and we demonstrated that today.
And I would say that is this on? Hello? I would say that defense, like Coach Wallace told us before the game, it's about heart, and we really wanted this game. We wanted it bad, and we knew that if we didn't pick up stops in the last 5 minutes that we weren't going to win the game. And it came down to just how bad we wanted it, and we wanted it bad. And here we are.
Okay, let's go over here.
This is for any of the players. You're up 7 points, 52-45 in the fourth quarter, and you hit a lull there, went over 3 minutes without scoring. What's the attitude at that point and the confidence level? Does it erode at all when they close it to 2?
Emily, let's start with you.
Just to stay calm. One of our biggest things that we've spoken about these past couple of weeks is to stay composed when things get like that. Everybody likes to bring up how we've lost in the fourth quarter this year. Well, we've just won 2 huge games in the fourth quarter when it mattered. So we're obviously capable of it. We just hit a little bit of a road bump throughout the year, and we're back where we're supposed to be. And we locked in with the coaches and the team, and I think we did an amazing job lifting each other up.
Okay, we've got one over here. Then we'll come on.
For you, Emily, kind of off that, like you said, a lot of talk was about your fourth quarters coming to the tournament. Tennessee was another one where it was close in the fourth quarter. You closed this one out too. Where do you think that change happened, or was it just a focus you guys had to click on after the Miami game?
Yeah, I think the Miami game definitely pushed us to lock in just a little bit more when it comes to the fourth quarter. But I think the impressive thing about us is we're not just, 61-61 hitting a last-minute shot. We're pulling out a 10-point lead in the last 3 minutes of games, which is, 1, really hard to do, and 2, a way better way to win because it's a little, less stressful on us. But it's also really difficult to do. It means we're playing great defense. So I'm just extremely proud of every single person on this team, from the staff to the players and everyone who came on this trip with us. It all meant the world. I'm ready, and I think we're ready to go to Final Four.
Okay, up here in front.
Mark Blankenbaker from ESPN Louisville. Talking about that lull, all 3 of you guys, and this is for any player, tried to take the lid out of the basket, but then it was Olivia that kind of went back to back there. What was said in that huddle right out of that timeout where y'all went back to back, and why was Olivia so effective right there?
I think in the fourth quarter, that look was there the whole fourth quarter, and we couldn't deliver it to her. We were rushing. We were letting their pressure affect us, speed us up. But the look was there, and in the last few timeouts, we really calmed each other down, focused on that look, those layups. We knew we had the open layup, and she was able to finish it. In the last take she had, she got bumped, and she finished through, and she played so tough tonight, obviously with her eye from the last game. She really had to push through, and it was another really, really tough matchup for her with Nas today, and she pulled through again. Olivia's so big time for us that we can't appreciate her enough. So.
Got one in the back.
We like to always ask you before you get to the Final Four what it would, Eric Crawford, by the way, WDRB, what it would feel like to get there. Now you've gotten there, and you're still kind of in the moment, but what does it feel like?
Go ahead.
It's electric. It feels like we've accomplished something amazing. I feel successful, but not just there quite yet. I really think the team can go to a national championship and win it. But we're going to live in this moment just like we've been doing when we've been playing the games. We deserve to soak this in. And it feels really, really cool to look around and see people who've been here for 15 years and players who've been here for 3 to 4 years and see happy tears down their eyes, and just to be able to be a part of that, it's been a fun ride.
Got one final question right here.
Yeah, for all three of you, it's the fourth Final Four that Jeff has taken this program to. Nick Evans made the point that every 4-year player under Jeff has now made a Final Four. What does he mean to this program, and how does he help lead you guys to so much success?
Kiana, let's start with you.
No, it'd be nice. Coach Walls is this program. I mean, I'd say a personal story. When I was on my official visit, he told me in a one-on-one meeting, said, if you commit, I'll take us back to the Final Four. And obviously not alone, like additions been every year, but we're here. And it's awesome to just like look back on that moment. And Coach Walls is just an amazing coach. He pushes us and pushes me in ways that like sometimes I get frustrated with, but it got us here, and I'm just so thankful for him and his leadership, and I know he can lead us to a national championship.
Emily?
Yeah, he's meant the world to me personally. I think it's been a difficult 3 years for me, and he was just somebody who took me under his arms, didn't really care who I was or where I was coming from at a mental level, and I really appreciate him. He's a good person. I love you too, man. He's a good person, and he's a good person on the court. He's just really fun to play for. He lets you be yourself, and he protects you, and you can trust him, and that's hard in this industry. So I'm grateful for him, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get him a national championship.
And
I kind of would agree with M. He's obviously a player's coach in that he lets you play and have fun, and when we're breaking in transition, he lets us try and create and be exciting, and he defends us when we talk crap and we get texts. Like, he always has our back, and he works. I think for me, he works on the person you are off the court. I'm a stubborn one, and he's had to teach me to enjoy life outside of basketball. And, he just he cares about you off the court, and it's not just a business. And I think it's pretty obvious, like, the emotion that we play with and the emotion that he coaches with, that we'd run through a wall for every girl on this team. We'd run through a wall for him. And so I think that's what makes us dangerous in this Final Four, is that we'll do anything for each other. And we're doing this for our city, and we're doing this for the 14 girls on the team, and Coach Purcell and JP and Lamont and Coach Walls and his wife and his kids. We're doing it for all of them. It's a lot more than just individual, and he really teaches us that. So, Coach Walls has built this program into something really special.
That will do it for us. Ladies, congratulations. Thank you very much for your time. You're out of here.
Don't get me crying now, okay? I'm not a crier. Take that.
Okay, we'll open it up. 10 minutes Q&A for Coach Walls. Let's start back here, and then we'll come up front.
Yeah, Cliff Brown, Associated Press. You're looking at Emily's stats, 1 for 9 from the field, 5 points, but yet you're also looking at 16 rebounds, 6 steals, 4 assists. Can you talk about somebody who struggles to shoot like that, but yet has that kind of impact on the game?
She's always had that type of impact on the game. It doesn't matter how she shoots the basketball. We start off the third quarter, and we're going to trap as soon as the ball is thrown in bounds. And we get a jump ball. Then she starts off the fourth quarter the same way. Back-to-back starting quarters where we get a jump ball call. And now it's our ball. And it was big plays like that throughout the entire game. The number of deflections she came up with, her rebounds there, 14 defensive rebounds is pretty impressive. She just does things you don't teach. It's who she is. When we made that run there in the third quarter, I think we're getting really close there. She came up with another deflection. We get the steal, the layup, and then we get a second steal, but then we miss the bunny there at the bucket, where if that goes in, I think it puts it at 11, and all of a sudden, who knows what might happen. But because of her ability and her length to get her hands on so many balls, it just disrupts the other team's offense.
Let's come up in front, and we're going to go back.
Two-part Olivia Cochran question. She takes the charge with 4 fouls. Does your heart stop waiting for the call? And secondly, after that, there was a timeout. You called a timeout, and you gave her 30 seconds. And I won't quote your quote, but what was your thinking there?
No, I mean, it was, they had called a timeout, I believe, and then we called one just to give her a minute to rest, because she wasn't coming out. And I told her flat out, I said, oh, you've got to suck this up. There's about it's about 2 minutes from us from going to a Final Four. You can't be tired. And I got to give the kid credit. She gutted it up. She came up with some big plays there at the end. I joked with her. I told her that the charge she took was because she was so tired she couldn't move to get out of the way. So she just took the charge. It was perfect. And she laughed about it. But she played her left shoulder, which we had talked about. That's how Nas likes to turn, and just took a big time charge. I think it was a 6-pointer for a 4-point game at the time. And, it really gave us the momentum. And then the other thing I was impressed with was how when they started to try to press there at the end, we attacked it, and Mikasa threw a great pass to O for the layup, because I'm looking forward to going back and watching that, because that probably wasn't but a foot away from hitting the rim on the pass, which made me a little nervous. But, if instead of waiting and hold it and trying to get fouled, if you can get points, get points. But O was great. She battled all night. She picked up 2 early fouls, but I thought she was fantastic.
Let's go in the pink.
Shannon Ryan, The Athletic. 2 things, but I think it was that same sequence of Olivia's plays there, and when they came to the side, but you got right in Emily's face, and I don't know, and gave her a pat on the back, and just wondering what you said there or what that was about.
No, it wasn't a pat on the back.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, I couldn't tell if you were mad or happy.
It was an inspirational speech.
Okay.
Inspirational speech is
I was
is
not
how
able
I like
to
to say
interpret
it.
that, so okay, thank you.
Yes.
And then when she's talking about the way you incorporated her into this team and helped her, can you describe the relationship you've had with her and just what you saw in her and wanted to, felt like she could bring to this team?
Well, we'd played against her for 3 years, and I say it all the time. What makes this team so special is when she went into the transfer portal and was looking to transfer. The first person I talked to was Mikasa Robinson on our team, because Emily was going to impact Mikasa's playing time more than anybody else on this team. And Mikasa, without hesitating, was like, "Coach, I'm tired of guarding her for 3 years," because she would always get stuck having to guard her. And she said, "If we can get her, let's get her, because these kids like to win." And Kos plays 16 minutes tonight. Emily plays 34 minutes. But at the end of the day, we're going to a Final Four. And there aren't many players who would say that. And that's why I absolutely love this kid, Mikasa. And she's hardly ever up here at the press table, because she's not putting up all these numbers. She's not scoring a bunch of points. But what she does for this team, you can't measure just by stats. But the relationship that I have with all of these kids, I treat them like they're my own. Okay, and as I tell them when I recruit them, and my 3 and my 4 are back there sitting down, they can tell you that they don't like me all the time. Because as a parent, you have to parent. And sometimes you have to discipline. And that's what we do here with our team. We're just, and I say it, and I know, and I'm glad you were able to see the passion that they spoke about tonight. Because at the end of the day, we are coaching and playing a game of basketball. But our jobs as coaches is to try to help prepare these young ladies for life after, and it's tough. Life is hard, as you all know, and we got to make sure that when they leave here, that they're at least more prepared for it than they were when they came in. So I love all of them, and just so excited for every single one of them.
Okay, coming up front.
Haley always plays with a lot of energy, but it seemed like she had something extra tonight. Was there anything into that, do you think, that you observed? And
No, it was a game to go to the Final Four. I mean, that's all. That's what it was. The kid competes. She loves these moments. And you look at her stat line. She's 9 for 15, 3 of 3. Now I'll talk to her about the 4 turnovers, but besides that, I mean, it's a pretty darn a ball game she had for us.
Okay, got one over here.
Jeff, 2 questions for you. The first, you guys that third quarter, there's just a lot of fouls, and even in the beginning of the fourth quarter, there were just a lot of fouls called. But you guys played still aggressive in that fourth and held them without a bucket in the final nearly 6 minutes of the game. What does that say about this defense? And then 2, on Chelsea, if I remember right, she didn't play well against Michigan the first time. I think she played 13 minutes, which is the lowest she's played all year. What about, I know you just talk about her game today and how much she does for this team that a lot of people really you don't normally see.
Yeah, she was big tonight for us. If she doesn't play the way she played that first half, I mean, we're probably down 6 or 8 going into half. She made big-time shots. Now, I asked her if she tried to bank the one in on purpose. But that's what happens. When you start getting into a rhythm and start feeling good, you get those to go for you. And she banked the one in, but defensively is where she was outstanding. She caused so much chaos, really heated up their point guard, was up into the ball, and was outstanding. For Chelsea, I'm so excited and happy for her also. You go back and look at her last year at Vanderbilt, and they opted out because of COVID, and now she's getting a chance to play in a Final Four. What a storybook. And she's a kid that we recruited hard out of high school, and it came down to we had offered Dana and offered her, and Dana committed first, which was great. I mean, what a remarkable career that she had, but we knew Chelsea. And when she went into the portal, it was one like, okay, we know the character that she is and has been nothing but an asset to our program.
We've got time for one more question.
Coach Missy Heydrich with the next. I know Keanu Smith, she gets 30-plus minutes for you tonight. How big was she? It just seems like your offense runs very smooth when she is in the lineup for you and gives you a lot of different looks, ball handling, but is able just to knock down shots. She seems to be kind of that calming presence that you need offensively.
Yeah, she played well. She really did some nice things. Came up with some big time baskets when we needed them. I think they cut it to 2, and then we ran a little set where she comes off a handoff and a screen and hit a big time pull up jump shot for us. So yeah, I mean, she played really, really well. Just excited for her, excited for everybody. Before we finish, I want to make sure that, I think Sam Purcell, what an awesome way to finish this up with him, to be able to go into our last weekend of possibly to play games. There's no more after this coming weekend. And then excited for Sam to be taking on a new responsibility as a head coach at Mississippi State. And then Steph Norman. Steph's been with me for all 15 years. And she's been a huge part of these Final Fours as well. And I'm just really, really fortunate to have her as a part of this program. And then JP, and you can go through Beth Burns, my entire staff. They're absolutely amazing, and I'm blessed to have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone. Good job, Coach. Appreciate it. Again, a recording of this conference will be available at NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaaveritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASOP and will be posted shortly. I do need to announce that the media workroom will close at 1:30.